This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all. Can you guys hear me?
Here. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay. So, right, guys. So, yesterday we have seen about the byte and bytes, right? Bytes. Okay. So, yeah, we just stopped at bytes. So, bytes is one of the data types in Python. Okay, bytes is one of the data types in Python, where it allows only 0 to 255 numbers, meaning that so total characters are 256 characters it allows, and the byte data type can be used. Okay, byte data type can be used in image processing, image processing, or video audio files processing. Okay, so working with basically this, working with images or video files or audio files. Okay, and used to, and this is used to encode or decoding operations. Okay, there are concepts encoding and decoding. Okay, we can encode the given text by following different encoding options. Yes. Okay, so we have UTF format 8, UTF format 16, like that. We have base 64. There are some kind of algorithms also to handle this encoding and decoding. Okay, so there this byte data type can be used. Also, when you are working with images or audio files or video files, so again this byte data type can be used, right? So byte is going to represent all the characters, all the available characters across the globe. So whatever you see in the keyboard, all the characters it is going to support. So 0 to 255, you access randomly any particular character. Say print of, okay, I have a bytes array. You access some random number, say 50 or something. Okay, I'm accessing as like as the accessing the list element, right? This is straightforward. So you just see that the 50th character itself is 50th 50, is it? Okay, so here no, right? So some 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So a different current, but we whatever we got is wrong. Okay, let's where are we? Advanced data types. Okay, and here a range of 256. Then we have created a bytes data type. So what is the type of B is bytes. Okay, and when I print B of 50. Okay, so when I print B of 50, it has to print the value at that index case. Okay, value at the index 50. We'll get this, we should get this. Index at 50 is 50 itself. Okay, let me no, something is wrong. Okay, so what is the type of B here? Type of B is bytes, right? Okay, bytes. And now if I print all the characters, okay, let me iterate each character in bytes B, and I'm just printing it, guys. Don't worry about the loop and all. Okay, just to show you what it is doing here. So it has all the numbers. That is the reason it is showing. So what conversion we did? So it has stored all the numbers here. Range of 0, 256, and let me print B directly. Okay. We're trying to understand all the characters. So yeah, these are the characters, right? So this is 0th position, this is first position, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the character at 9th position, but we are getting an index value, like number. We should not. So this is going to be a range, and this will be bytes, and it is printing. There should be a way of accessing the underlying character, guys. So by default, it is just returning the actual number, because we have taken a range of 0, 0, 256. So index values are like considering 0 to 255. So that is the reason if you're accessing the index at 50, it's going to return the same number, nothing but index value. But still we can access this underlying character actually. Why it is not as it is, it is So there should be a different way to convert this, guys. I'll see that. I'll let you know. So there should be a way of getting it. I will let you know. So however, we can assign some different values also. Say in the second position, so I wanted to give a number. So 11111. Now again print this B. Right. So now did we cover this yesterday? No, right? So what is the error I'm getting? Type error. So bytes object does not support an item assignment, meaning that so byte is going to be immutable. Byte is immutable object, so we cannot change, we cannot modify it. But I wanted to modify it. How can I modify it? Still I wanted to modify it. How do I do that? So that is where we should have a mutable version for this. So that is where in Python 3.0 version onwards, so they have introduced one more data type called byte array. The same thing, how byte, what are the characters I have in bytes. So byte array is also going to work in the same way. Byte array is also going to work in the same way. So that is where this byte array, the only difference is byte and byte array, this is going to be mutable, this is going to be mutable. So let's understand byte array, how to create a byte array. So now I have already bytes object here, right? Bytes variable here. So just pass that to this particular byte array, which converts that into byte array. And where you have a byte array, you can modify its value. You can modify its value. That's it. You can see, if you want, you can see the type of BA. So here B of 2. Yeah, let me comment this because it doesn't support, right? So in Python, where you get error, from there it will come out of it. So here byte array. So does it give any error? No. So bytes, then B, this printing B, again printing B, and byte array. Okay, so again I'm printing B only. Is it? No, I'm printing byte array, right? So byte array. So this is what byte array. So what is the index position? 0, 1, 2. So look at the difference between this byte and byte array, guys. So it is 0, then 1, then 2, 3, like that. So when you look at byte array, start at 0, then so after that it has given a separate character. It's given a separate character at second position, right? So it's not it's modified basically. So if you want, you can keep whatever character at 111 place, right? That is getting it here, that value is replacing here. Okay, so you can play with around this by changing different numbers. Okay, so only thing we need to understand here is, right, to access, actually to how to know what is the exact character at the given index. That I need to come back. Okay, I'll let you know about that, because if I'm trying to access directly something like B of 10, B of 11, B of 50, B of 100, it's giving the actual number, but I don't want number. I wanted to see the character at that particular number, right? At that particular place. So that I will tell you. I will let you know. Okay, so byte is a immutable object where you cannot modify anything, whereas byte array is the one like that where you can modify the data. Okay, that's the difference, byte and byte array, and these are helpful for encoding and decoding algorithms implementation, and working with the audio files, images. There these bytes and byte array functions are helpful. So we have a concept of files. Okay, So there will be working with images and all. Okay, so we'll see more during that discussion. Okay, all right guys, so then we have something called none type. When I say none type, so that means nothing. So that means nothing. When you wanted to set an object value to nothing, then that representation, how I'm going to do is using none. Okay, so for example, x equal to 10. Now what is the x value here? 10, because it has some value. The x has some value, and I wanted to nullify that. I don't want to give any value to my x, but still I wanted to have my x. So there I can specify my x value as none. So meaning that, so nothing. None means nothing. Maybe you can map this to null in other programming languages. Okay, so we have a concept of null. Which is same as none in Python. None means nothing. Okay, none means nothing. So just you can print a type of x. You can print type of x and see. So this is going to be none type. This is going to be a none type. So most of the functions, like so this is also like helpful when you are working with functions, guys. When you are working with functions, so we'll be checking, in generally we'll be checking if x value is none, you will be doing something, otherwise we'll be doing something. Conditionally we do some logics. Okay, we'll do some logics. So definitely it is going to help us. When you started programming, you will understand. Okay, so the none plays its role, and it uses in many ways. Okay, so for now just understand. So none is also one particular value. None is a value, and what is the type of its value? That is what none type. That's what none type. So yeah, so that is the other type. We have data type, that is also valid data type we have. That's all, guys. Hope you guys are followed and you are good with the data types. So looping content, that is what as part of flow control I will explain the iterations. Okay, for loop and while loop. Maybe just you need to wait for two more sessions. Okay, after that we'll start with that. So tomorrow, Monday, I'll be starting with the flow controls. Okay, so the next thing is typecasting. So this is also important thing for your programming. Okay, so typecasting is another important thing. So when you have a data, okay, the data comes in one format, and you wanted to convert that into another format because of your requirements. Okay, so that's where, like, you would be requiring to do the casting. So we have different types, data types, integer, float, and all. I wanted to convert integer into float float data type, or float into integer type, or boolean into integer, or integer into boolean. So like vice versa, all combinations. So we have to do typecasting. So as your other programming language. So in other programming language, yeah, you have some implicit casting and explicit casting as. Okay, so here we don't have a concept of implicit or explicit concepts. Okay, so you have to do it. If you have a data, you have to do it. Okay, you have to typecast it. It depends on the requirement. Okay, so and again, there is no concept of widening and narrowing also, as you see in Java or other languages. Okay, so converting a bigger type value into lower type value based on the sizes. That's what your widening narrowing concept says. But here, to represent integer, we have only one data type, that is what integer, int, right? But if you look at C language, you have different types, right? Or if you look at Java, you have different types to represent a number. You have byte, integer, short, long, etc., etc. But here only one type, that is what integer. So there is no concept of widening and narrowing. Okay, so here we are converting in between different types. So int float, float to int, right? And integer to boolean, boolean to integer. So all these combinations. Okay. So we are going to convert one into another. So string into integer, integer into string. Okay, so like this you have a number of combinations, guys. So you can give it a try. I'll tell you few. Okay, so let us try. Like I have a value of integer. Okay, I have a value of integer. So x equal to 10. This is integer, right? And we know that the type of this particular value is integer. The type of the value is integer. So how do we know that the type of it? So type of x gives me, it tells us what is the type of x. Right now I wanted to convert this into float. I wanted to convert this into float. So how do I do that? I have a function for each and everything, right? We have respect to functions, guys. So if you wanted to convert that into float, just use that float function. You pass your x variable. Okay, now it is going to print that. It is going to convert that and it will print. So let me take into another variable float of x. Now let me print this type of f and its value. Okay, f value, type and value I'm printing. So see that. So here let me print type of x comma x. Just I'm following certain print format where you see. So initially it is integer, then after converting what is the type, guys? Float. It is a float, and what is the value? 10.0. It's just going to convert that into a floating point. Okay, so from integer into float conversion. Float conversion. We need to typecast. Depends on the requirements. Definitely we need this. So pay attention. So in the similar way, float value can be converted into integer again. Okay, I have a 10.5. What is the type of this? Again, what is the type of this? So type of f will be floating. Right. So let me take another variable. So you can use still same variable, but to avoid confusion, I'm taking a different variable here. Okay, so type of f1. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to convert this into integer. So to convert a float value into integer, we have a function called integer function, right? So integer function, so convert this into some different variable, assign this to a different variable, which is what x1. Now let me print type of x1 and x1 value. So what are we doing now? We are just converting floating point value into
Excuse me.
Yeah.
In x1
Hello?
equal to int f1.
Exactly correct. Thank you. Yes. So that's what. So from float into integer conversion we are doing. So this is a floating point value, right? F1, and then I'm converting that floating point value into integer. How? So using a function called integer function. We have the corresponding function. It's very straightforward and simple. For every type there is a equivalent function. That's it. For integer, int function. For float, float function. For complex, complex function. For bool function. For string, string functions. We have all the functions available, guys. So straightforward. So this is string, this is float, we have integer, we have complex, bool. Okay, so these are the basic data types that we have, right? Complex and boolean, bool. We have this. So these are the basic data types. So in a similar way, we have advanced data structures. Even for that also we have functions, guys. List function we have, tuple we have, set function we have, dictionary we have. Of course, frozen set also we have, and we have seen that already. Frozen set, right? So we have these functions as well, and we have functions for bytes and bytes array also. We have seen that as well. So we have the corresponding functions to convert some other data type into that particular specific data type. We have all these functions. Okay, you just need to use that, play around that. So here, yeah, so you can execute this. And one thing here, right, while converting a floating point value into integer, you will be losing the data. You will be losing the data. So you have to, if you are okay with that, then convert it. Otherwise, you should not do it. See that? So here, the float value is 10.5, but when you convert it into integer, it's just going to consider that integer value, and it simply leaves that decimal value. If you are okay with that, then you go for conversion. Otherwise, don't convert it. Okay. All right, guys. So we don't have a char data type in Python. We don't have a char data type. So even single character also we use a string type still. Okay, we use string type. So now if you wanted to convert a string into integer, okay, so conversion between string into integer. Okay, so string type. Say I have a string here. The important note here, guys, the important note. So here, a string in the sense what? I can keep single quotes, or I can use double quotes, or I can use triple quotes. So all three flavors are allowed to represent as a string, right? So in this string, so you keep value. Okay, so what is the underlying value? What is the underlying value inside this box? That matters here. While converting that into the respective format, you can convert this string into integer, you can convert this string into floating point value, you can convert this string into what else we have, boolean value, you can convert the string into the other types, whatever types you have. So there is a possibility of converting into all other types. If you have a string type value, you can convert them into all other types, but only thing you have to ensure is the value inside the string, nothing but the value inside the double quotes should be of type, the target type should be of the target type. So for example, if I wanted to convert, I have a value which is coming as a 10, but this is not a number type. By seeing the number, so don't assume that this is of integer type. So this is of string type because this value is placed inside the double quotes. So 100% the type of this is what? Type of S is of course string. Okay, so this is of type string. So this is of type string. Now I wanted to change the type of string into integer. That is where I can use a function called integer function by passing your reference, string reference. So this value I wanted to convert it, right? So where I have that value inside this variable, you pass that variable to this integer function, right? So that is where you will be getting integer value. Okay, now see type of I, comma I. So you can print the value. So here also you can print the value. Okay, so here it is a string and here it is integer. Here we have converted. So here it is integer and above it is a string. Getting, guys? Hope you are following. So here if you understand that, so the value should be the supported format to convert it to integer. So say for example, I have a S1 value, I have a group of characters, TEN. So this is not actually a number, right? This is a group of characters. Now if I try to convert this into integer, what will happen? Type of S1, it is a string, we know that. And now I'm trying to convert this into integer. Yes, sir. Now I'm going to get an error. So it says that value error, okay, invalid literal for int function with base 10. So it expects integer function expects a number which is a decimal number. Even that too, it should be a decimal number. You cannot pass octal number, you cannot pass binary number. Okay, it should be like base 10. Then it will convert, otherwise it cannot. It raises an error, a value error, if you try to typecast a group of characters into integer or maybe float or anything else. But still there is a way to convert, there is a concept of converting a string into integer or float. How? If the string is holding that particular number, then it converts it, then it will convert it, otherwise it cannot. So hope you understand this point, this important point. So this raises value error. So here this cannot convert it into a number, particular number. The same thing applicable for float or bool or complex other types as well. So say for example, I have a boolean value, inside that I have a true, I have a value true. What are the possible values for boolean type? True and false. Possible values are true and false. So here if I wanted to convert this into boolean type, let me first print this type of B. Of course, we know that type of B is what? String type here. Type of B is what? String, because we have that inside double quotes. Inside double quotes or inside single quotes or triple quotes, whatever it is, we consider the type is what? Python interpreter consider the type is what? A string type. Okay, now I am going to convert this into Boolean. We have a function called Boolean function where you can pass the string object here. Now, so assign this to something else. Now check the type of this print type of b1 comma okay b1. So print the value. So I run this. So now you can see initially it is a string, then it is converted into Boolean. So this is possible or not? Of course, this is possible. So if, suppose again you are taking something like okay, a different string. Okay, hello. So is it a Boolean type? No, right? Okay, so someone is asking a question, why we need a number in string and convert? We can directly declare. Okay, so all right, so okay, I'll answer you. So always you are not the person who is creating the data and using it, right? So there are cases where the data comes from different sources. You might be reading the data from the keyboard, you might be reading the data from a database, you might be reading the data from another file, right? There are different sources and you don't know, we don't know how the data is coming up. So every data, all the data, maybe they might be sending as a string format. For different reasons they will be sending the data in a string format, and on top of data you might be applying certain operations which may fail, so you have to convert them into integer, then you need to apply. I'll show you, I'll give you an example in a while. Okay, just stick with that question. I'll answer that question with example. Okay. So now so here we can convert a string into a boolean, string into boolean. So here what I do, sorry, I have missed it. This must space in between. Okay, so yeah, this is a boolean which is inside a string type. Okay, so this is a string, this is a string type, and yeah, come back to this. I have hello inside my string now. So b2, what I'm doing is boolean of b, right? So now my b value is what? Hello, not true, because this will override. this will override. So same variable I'm using, right? So whatever the content I have, it's going to be like it's going to hold hello now. Okay, now if you print type of b2 comma b2, okay, so understand this. Okay, now so you can see some interesting facts here again. Okay, now this is a string, right? This is a string of different value, right? String of different value, not a true or not false. But what it is printing? It is printing true, is it? B is hello, and I'm converting that into boolean b2, and then I'm printing it. It should return false actually. By true, string into boolean. Okay, boolean, it's converted, but true it is returning, is it? Yeah, so there is a possibility, guys. So other than 0, right? So if you are trying to convert anything, so this is a standard in Python. Okay, just remember the point, make a note of this. Okay, so when you are converting other than 0, okay, if you are converting other than 0 or other than empty, blank, so it will be by default, it will be treated as true. Okay, so make a note of it. Say for example, I am taking a blank here. Okay, so nothing but nothing, I don't have anything, so empty string, right? This is empty string. Now run this. What is the output, guys? False. So this is the point in Python, make a note of it. And in the similar way, say for example, I am taking a number.
But
Okay, I'm taking
sir,
a number as zero. Now I'm converting this into boolean of
sir,
number.
but group of characters we call it as a string, right?
Yes,
But
this is a string.
empty, yeah. But
This is a
with
string.
empty double quotes, it is not a string.
No, that is also a string, but empty, right? So that is what the point I'm trying to explore now. If the
Okay. Can
value
you give?
is if the value is zero, that is going to consider as a false.
Can you give instead of empty with space, using space?
If you give space, that is going to become like again a character, right? That returns true again.
Okay.
Okay, so the point here is other than empty, other than blank, other than zero, everything it
Okay.
is going to consider as a true. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, if I don't give space also, this is nothing but empty, right? So even not a blank, it's just none kind of thing. There is nothing inside that, so then by default it is going to treat that as a false. So
That is
other
null
than this,
value.
you keep any value, any data, that is going to be true. That is the point. Okay, now let me show you one more example here. You will understand better. Number equal to 0. This is of type integer, right? And we know that type of number is what? Integer. Correct? Correct. Now I am converting this into boolean. Now what is the type of this? What is the type of this? So number is 0. I'm converting into boolean. So this is what? This is going to convert happily, and but that will be a false. Okay, so yeah, I did not print the value here. Let me print the value also. It's converted, it's a boolean type, and var value, if you see the value is false, the last print statement. Okay, now let me change this value to some number 100. Of course, we know that if it is 1, you might feel that 1 represents true, 0 represents false. Okay, but not only just 1, you give any number, that's going to be true. Except 0, whatever you give, that is going to be true during the conversion. The bool function does that. Same way, if it is a string, if your string has characters, even though blank is also considered one character, either blank or if you have some characters, that is going to consider as a true during the conversion. If it is blank, if it is not a blank, even it's just empty, not even blank, okay, it's just empty, then that is going to consider as false. String to boolean conversion, integer to boolean conversion, whatever we have seen is integer to boolean and string to boolean into bool conversion. Are you clear about this? This is string to bool conversion. So these conversions are possible. However, the important thing is, so other than 0, if you give anything and you try to convert that into boolean, that is going to consider as true. If it is 0, then it will be false. Right. Now I'll come back to your question.
Sir, can you go with string to integer?
There is no short, guys. There is no short in Python. Okay, there is no short to type. For representing all the numbers, we have only one type, that is integer. That is integer. Now, actually, I'm trying to explain the question. So you can directly define the type whatever you want. Why do you need conversion? That's what the question someone is asking. Let me explore that. Why do you need this conversion? Okay, so type casting example. Oh. So let me tell you one point here, guys. At this moment, we can read the data from keyboard, of course, right? Any programming language, we can do that. We can read the data from keyboard. So now, from where my data is coming up? From the keyboard. So my source is keyboard. How do I read it in Python? Is we have a function called input function. We have a function called input function. So I told you a small point about the functions. The function's responsibility is what? It might take some input and it will process something and it will return some value. It may return some value, right? So in the similar way, the input function is also takes the character what you are typing from the keyboard, character by character. It will take all the characters and all of them is going to return as a string, because you don't know what the Python interpreter doesn't know like what you are entering over there. So whatever you are entering, so here enters anything. I'm typing something like this. So this is for the user understanding. Okay, whatever I am keeping inside double quotes, right, it will display on the console so that the user understand, okay, it is asking me to enter something, so he'll enter whatever he enters. This input function is going to capture and returns a value. So now let me assign this to some variable v. Now print type of v, that's it. Okay, print type of v. Run this, guys. So follow this clearly, carefully. So enter anything. It is asking me to enter something. So user will understand, okay, he'll enter something. Now I am entering hello. Now what is the type of this case? String, right? What is the type of this string? Now I am running again. I'm running again. Now I'm entering 100. Okay, I'm entering 100. What is the type of this string? Let me run one more time. So it is asking for to enter something. I have entered a boolean type call. But still, what is the type of this string? Okay, so you give anything 1 plus 2, it's a complex type, but how it takes string. So you give anything from the keyboard. Okay, that function is going to return that as a string. The function is going to return that as a string. So in that case, so user is entering a number, the user is entering a number, and that is a string. And you are thinking that, okay, I'm entering a integer object, and you are doing some calculation on that. So v equal to v mod or v division something, v division 10, or you are doing something like, what is this division operation, right? Division operation, you are doing this slash. So now you're trying to do that. Okay, now what will happen now? So enter anything 100, I am entering, then 100 by 10. So it's giving problem or not? Unsupported operand bus division, that is a v is of type string, and 10 is integer. So in between that, you are trying to do this arithmetic operation, that is not possible. Understanding?
Yes.
Now what I have to do, I have to convert now. So I know that I'm going to I enter a number, I'll say in this case. Now user enters a number. So now I know that it is a number. So what I do is I will typecast it. So instead of doing this, I'll do, okay, convert this v into integer and apply the division operation. Now it will happily work. So it is going to work happily. Okay, so that is the thing here. Python is a dynamically typed programming language, but it is strict about types. So many people think that, okay, well, we are not specifying type anywhere, we don't have to worry about that. No, that's a wrong thing. So we have to be very careful about the types, what you are operating, what you are getting, what you are returning, what you are returning. On each and every context, we have to be careful about the types. Okay, only thing is, right, so based on the underlying data, it understand what kind of data type it is. That's it. We don't have to specify explicitly. That is only the thing. So I gave integer, but result is float, because so this division operation, right, I always say, if I say 5 division 2, so what it is going to give? So it gives me like decimal values or not? So 2.5 or something, right? Is that an integer type? No, right? So you do any division default, it's going to return that as a floating point value. That's going to return as a floating point value, because we should not want to miss the decimal values. Yes, so there is another operator in Python. If you don't want to lose, sorry, if you want to lose the decimal values, I don't want decimal values, but out of 2.5, I'm fine with to take 2. I just ignore the decimal values. Then you go with the other operator, guys. That is where we have a floor division. This is what the operator that we have. Okay. If you do this, yeah, you are going to get only the integer part. So anyhow, we'll discuss about the operators after, as soon as we are done with the typecasting. Okay, come on, guys. So anyhow, do you guys understand now the importance of typecasting? Okay, so if you are declaring it by yourself, then no issues. If you need integer, you will take integer and you will go with that. But whenever you don't know what kind of data type I'm getting it and what operation I'm doing, then based on the operation I'm doing, I have to convert it. Depends on the need, depends on the requirement. Okay, so otherwise we'll be running out of errors. So we need to understand the typecasting definitely. Okay, go back to this. So here we have all the possibilities. You can give a try converting one into another, guys. So we have, you know, all the functions now, right? So what are the functions we have? So these are the functions
But
we have.
sir,
Who is that? Yeah.
but string to integer is not possible. That means of characters is not converted into integer. So can I take single character? Suppose we can take input as a, it will be converting a ASCII value.
No, 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 no. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't convert.
So
So
all type of
usually,
conversion is possible except string to integer, right?
so you are
Yeah,
saying
take
that
one.
here you wanted to give some character, right? That
Yeah.
is not possible. That cannot convert. That cannot convert.
Okay.
Okay. And should we use rather to int of v of 10? Yeah, you can do that. If you want to convert that int of 10, still you can do it, but again that will be going to lose. You will be losing, you know, the decimal points. Okay, say for example 111, so you get only 11. So you'll be losing that decimal values because the result is a float type. This is of type float. Now you are converting that float into integer. That's it. One more typecasting you are doing. So this is v is a string to integer you are converting, and on top of it the result is the whole result of this is a float. That float you are converting into integer. That's it. Two typecastings, two types. So you
But
will be
you put
losing the
it
decimal points still. Sorry.
double integer, right? That means just type on it, print int, next line.
Yes, so what does it mean? So integer of v, this is let me take this into another variable. Okay, now what I'm doing,
Okay.
so I'm converting that into integer because this is a float, this is a floating point type of x. If you print, this is a float because when you are not this, so usually 10 I'm doing this. So this is going to be a floating point value. One second, one
But
moment.
already converted into integer,
Yeah,
right?
correct,
That means float. Yeah.
this one. So v by 10, this is going to be a float, and that float point I'm typecasting into integer. That's what you are doing. So you will be losing that decimal values if you do this conversion. That's what I'm telling. So this will be floating point, right? This will be floating point, and here you are converting that integer. So you'll be losing that. So enter any number. Okay, somewhere we missed. What is that? Oh, that we need. Come on, int of, that is a string type, right? We need to convert that into integer first. Okay, then it is going to be allowed to do that operation, because if you want to do division, the most that must be integer by 10, but v is of type string, right? So string by integer doesn't allow, so we have to convert that into integer first, then the result will be floating type. Now the x is a floating type. Then if you want to convert back into integer, you have to again do this integer of x. Now it works. Okay, so initially 112, it is a string type. Okay, that you have to convert and you have to apply the operation, division operation, which is going to be a float. Then after again you are converting that back into what? Integer. Okay, so here you, if you want to see the value of x here, okay, so the value of x, you have 0.2, so that's a decimal value, right? And after converting into integer, you lost that decimal points, so it's just printing 111. That is what the point. Okay, hope you understand. Hope you understand, guys. Any confusions around this? So now you can play. You have you understand now the importance of conversions. Now you can play with one with another. All data types: string to complex, complex to string, right? Float to string, string to float, integer to float, float to int, boolean to other types. You play all the combinations. Play all the combinations. Okay, you will understand better. Okay, anyhow, these conversions, right, I will tell you when we are talking about the collections. Okay, so if you have a list data structure and you wanted to convert that into tuple, yeah, so you can pass the list object to tuple. That's where that is going to convert into tuple. Anyhow, I'll talk about this in detail, don't worry. So you play around these 5 conversions this weekend. Okay, any questions around this, guys? Any questions?
Can you show me that output?
This output, so give some number, any number. 11 I'm giving. So
But you given a number that is 11, right? But on second line, class is string. The type is V.
that's
In
what I
output.
was that's what I was saying. The input function returns anything, everything in the format of string. In the format of string.
Oh, okay,
You
okay.
enter 11, you enter 10.5, you enter some 1 plus 2j, anything. You enter anything, but ultimately that is going to return as a string type. So that is what that input function is doing, that behavior. Okay, so that is why it is printing as a string, and string with a division is not possible, so we are converting that into integer. That's where we need typecasting. Understand?
Yeah.
Input can be anything. Okay, but based on the input you are giving, you have to apply the typecasting. Depends on the operations that you are going to do. Suppose you are printing the input value as it is, then no point of typecasting anything. But as we are performing some arithmetic operation, yes, we need to convert that into integer, then we have to do it. Okay, suppose the user entered some string number and you are trying to typecast and you are trying to do something, it's going to be error, because 10 it cannot convert into integer. So here itself we got error. We have a mechanism to handle the errors, so we call it as exception handling or error handling. Yeah, there we will understand more to handle this kind of scenarios also. Okay, so for today, do you understand how to typecasting and what is the importance of typecasting, or why do we need typecasting? Are you clear about this?
Yes.
Then we have to do it, because we'll be defining multiple programs are writing different functions. We may use those functions, or we may use existing functions. Those functions may return different kind of types, and that we need in other types to continue with our processing. So we need typecasting. Okay, yeah, go through the recorded session one more time, you will understand better. And yeah, practice yourself. That's what assignment for you guys. So you practice all these combinations, all the combinations. Okay, so Monday, tomorrow and day after tomorrow we don't have sessions, guys. We'll have session on Monday. So you practice whatever we have covered so far. Monday I'm going to discuss about the operators. Okay, so Monday we discuss about the operators. We have different kind of operators. We discuss about them, and immediately we'll start with flow controls. That's where we see for loop, while loop, and all the stuff. If conditions, nested ifs. That's there we play like anything. We practice more examples. Okay, that's all for today, guys. Happy weekend. Bye bye. Talk to you on Monday. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll send the notes, programs, everything. Okay, bye bye. Talk to you on Monday. Thank you, guys.